back to my channel. This is Preeti and you're watching my resolution. In this video, I'll be teaching you entirely about the skin, what are the functions that are related to the physiology and the diseases which are related to pathology, histology and anatomy and the layers of the skin. All this everything which you need to know about the skin, I'll be teaching you in this video. The skin, which is the largest organ in our body, it is covering entire surface, entire our body surface. It acts as a protective barrier, that is a physical barrier against microorganisms, viruses, infection and all. So this is the largest and the largest protective organ. It is a first physical barrier. And functions of the skin, what are the functions of this is a protective organ and first order it is under the first line defense, that is physical barrier which primarily protects our skin from many harmful toxins or else microbes, any microbes like virus, parasite, protozoa, anything. This acts as a physical barrier. And the functions of skin is it acts as a physical barrier, as I already said. It maintains it regulates the temperature by sweating. If your body temperature is more, it causes a sweating profusely. You sweat off, and then along with the water, heat also goes away from the body, so it helps in temperature regulation. And it protects against UV radiation because it acts as it synthesis vitamin D, and also it protects from UV radiation, trauma or any microorganisms or toxins. It acts as a sensory perception. You can feel pain, touch or temperature. And it maintains homeostasis. How it maintains homeostasis means along with the sweat, it also eliminates some electrolytes. So it maintains homeostasis of electrolytes. It maintains electrolyte balance, and it maintains homeostasis by regulating the temperature, by regulating the electrolytes. Everything it maintains constant. So it helps in maintaining homeostasis. It synthesizes vitamin D with the help of sunlight. The skin contains cholecalciferol and synthesis vitamin D, which in turn helps in calcium absorption. And it also acts as excretory function, like carbon dioxide suffuses, very little quantity of carbon dioxide is also excreted through the skin. And it has endocrine function, as it synthesizes many hormones and vitamins also. So it has endocrine function, that is vitamin D synthesized here. And structure of skin, primarily if you see the structure of skin, it has 3 layers. We will be discussing about the structure of the skin, how it is arranged, how the layers of the skin are arranged. We'll see. Primarily it has 3 layers: epidermis, dermis and subcutaneous tissue. Epi means, as the name says, epi means above epi. Dermis is the skin. Above the dermis or dermis layer, it will be upon the dermis layer, so it is also known as epidermis. Epidermis, it is the outermost layer of the skin. As you can see, this is the epidermis. This is the epidermis. This is a histological diagram of a skin. This entire thing is a epidermis. This thing is a dermis. Dermis again divided into two parts, that is papillary dermis and reticular dermis. Papillary dermis, where these projections are coming out and in, this projection until where it will be coming, that is called papillary dermis, and other thing will be reticular dermis. And now we will discuss about this epidermis part. Epidermis, how the layers are arranged, what are the layers arranged, and how what it contains. We will discuss in this now. That is epidermis. Epidermis is the outermost layer, as we have seen, and it is waterproof because it contains keratin, which do not allow water. So it is waterproof barrier. It is further divided into 5 layers, that is stratum bacillum, stratum spinosum, stratum granulosum and stratum lucidum, stratum corneum. I will show you the diagram image. That is the basal layer, that is the basal layer from down. It is stratum bacillum. After that, stratum spinosum, stratum granulosum, it contains granule cells, and then stratum lucidum, and then stratum corneum, it contains Z cells over here. From year to year, you can see the change in shape of the cells. Initially it was columnar cells, then it became polygonal cells, and then again it became further flat to become squamous cells, and then the cell got died. From the basal stratum bacillum, if we go from stratum bacillum to stratum corneum, it keep on losing its organelles, so its size will be go on reducing, and finally it will be dead. So this is a stratum corneum, is a dead tissue. And then again this time is called as this process is called as a keratinization. Keratinization is also a reason for acne. So we have to prevent Dyskeratinization in order to prevent acne. This process is called keratinization. The process from stratum bacillum to formation of stratum corneum is called keratinization. We know that there are two types of skin, thick skin and thin skin. Example is that this is the thick skin on the soles and palms, soles on your foot, and then these are palms, and this is a thin skin. Remaining entire body is a thin skin. Thin skin contain hair follicles. Other skin appendages like hair follicles, sweat glands, sebaceous glands, and nail beds and all will be present in a thin skin. Whereas in thick skin do not have sebaceous glands, and thick skin will be having 5 layers, whereas thin skin will be having only 4 layers. So thin skin will be loss of one layer, that is it lacks one layer, that is stratum lucidum. Stratum lucidum won't be present in thin skin, it will be present in thick skin. That is 5 layers, entire 5 layers will be present in thick skin. Thin skin only 4 layers will be present. And we'll see about the dermis now. Like epidermis is done, there's 5 layers, and the difference between thick skin and thin skin, epidermis of thick skin and epidermis of thin skin we have discussed. Now we'll be seeing about the dermis. Dermis is the second most, this will be epidermis, abodermis, then dermis, then subcutaneous tissue will be there. This layer, second layer we are seeing, it is present beneath the epidermis. This is epidermis, beneath that the dermis is present. It contains connective tissue. Connective tissue, everywhere it will be present. It connecting between the two organs or anything, it will be there. It will be having connective tissue and hair follicle. So you can see, this is the dermis of a thin skin. Hair follicle you see only in a thin skin. So it contains hair follicle in the dermis of a thin skin. You can see hair follicle in the dermis of a thin skin. And it contains hair follicles, blood vessels, lymphatic, sweat glands, everything will be present in the connective tissue only. Connective tissue which is present in the dermis. And further, the dermis has 2 layers. I have already showed you in the image, that is papillary dermis, where you can see that like this projection. This is a papillary dermis. The projections of epidermis are called epidermal papillae. The projections of dermis into epidermis is called epidermal papillae. These are dermal papillae. The projections of dermis into epidermis are called dermal papillae. From where it is coming, that we have to say. The projections of epidermis into dermis is called epidermal papillae. This is epidermal papillae, this is dermal papillae. So this is called as a papillar dermis, and reticular dermis below to this papillary dermis we have other layer, reticular dermis, where reticulocytes are most prominent. And we'll discuss about other layer. As already said, that epidermis, dermis, and then subcutaneous tissue. Now I'll be saying about the subcutaneous tissue. This is the deepest layer. Third layer, the first layer epidermis, dermis, and then third one subcutaneous tissue. This subcutaneous tissue is the deepest layer of the skin, and it contains connective tissue and fat. So few fat will be present in subcutaneous tissue. And while dissecting, you might have seen that yellow globules, which you can see yellow color. That is a subcutaneous tissue where you can see fat tissue, that is adipocytes, and connective tissue you could have make out. And embryology, if you have we have to say that embryology, that epidermis, dermis, and from where that has derived. Epidermis is been derived from the surface ectoderm, and melanocytes are derivatives of neural crystals. Derivatives of neural crystals is also important topic for you in the exam. And from mesoderm, dermis has originated. This is all about the like embryological points which you need to know. And the blood supply of the skin will be everywhere. There will be arteries and then capillaries. Those will be giving a plexus that will be found in between the papillary and reticular. I said no, inside the dermis only there are other 2 layers, that is reticular layer and papillary layer. In between those 2 there will be a plexus which supplies the blood to the skin. Skin is highly vascularized. Whenever you cut just little also you will start bleeding. So skin is highly vascularized, except that like entire skin is highly vascularized, and facial muscles are still vascularized. To prevent acne and to keep your skin healthy, you will be doing massages now, so it increases the blood flow and all. So skin is highly vascularized, and the blood supply for skin will be the plexus between the papillary dermis and reticular dermis. Now supply will be, there will be passinus corpuscles which senses pressure when we apply pressure, that is sensed by passinus corpuscles, and Merkel's receptors, light touch. Touch perception is received by Merkel's receptors. And dermatome. What is dermatome? Dermatome is any segment of the skin which is supplied by single spinal nerve. Example, umbilicus region. Near umbilicus region it is supplied by T10 spinal nerve. T10 spinal nerve supplies, this is a single one dermatome. It is supplied by a T10 spinal nerve. And muscles. Which are the muscles which are present in the skin we'll be seeing. The muscles are erector pili muscles, which are the smallest muscles, smallest skeletal muscles. You know skeletal muscles? Skeletal muscles are voluntary muscles. In voluntary muscles, erector pili is the smallest muscle you can see. These are found in these are found in all the skin, wherever the hair follicles are there, everywhere you can see this erector pili muscle, which is the smallest skeletal muscle. These are the muscles which are present in the skin. And we'll speak about the skin appendages. What are the skin appendages? Hair you can see on the skin. You'll be having hair, nail. Then sweat glands, you will be sweating profusely, and sebaceous gland. Sebaceous gland will be like, we feel little smell for sebaceous gland. Sweat glands, you can differentiate between sweat and sebaceous gland is this thing. And here in the palm and like in a thick skin, the palm and soles, you won't find sebaceous gland, whereas in thin skin you find sebaceous gland and sweat gland too. This is all about the skin appendages, that is hair, nail, sweat gland and sebaceous gland. Now we'll be seeing about few disorders of skin. That is, and then first we'll see about the histology, then we'll be seeing a few skin disorders. Histology, first you have to write epidermis, then dermis. Dermis again two parts, that is papillary dermis and reticular dermis. In epidermis, you will be having further 5 layers, that is stratum bacillum from down. You will be having columnar cells, basal nuclei, then stratum spinosum, polygonal cell with a centrally placed nuclei. Then stratum granulosum, you have to show more the purple stain here, granulosum. Then stratum lucidium, where the cells are dead, and stratum corneum, only keratin cells, keratin you have to show. This I think epidermis you got, how to draw epidermis. And then dermis. Dermis is entirely connective tissue. In that, blood vessels, you have to draw blood vessels, few blood vessels, and then sweat glands. Sweat glands are exocrine glands. So they are lined by cuboidal cells. All glands are lined by glands will be having ducts. Ducts will be lined by cuboidal cells, sweat glands. Then these are the projections of epidermis into the dermis are called epidermal papillae, and the projection of dermis into epidermis is called dermal papillae. These are dermal papillae, these are epidermal papillae. This is all you have to write about the thick skin. Thick skin will be having all 5 layers, whereas thin skin will be having hair follicle extra, and this stratum lucidium, this stratified squamous keratinized epithelium will be same, but stratum lucidium will be absent, and you have to write hair follicle. This will be angulated like this, and then here erector pili muscle will be there, remaining everything will be same, and sebaceous gland and sweat gland will be more in here. The extra sebaceous gland will be there. There sebaceous gland you did not find, here sebaceous gland is also there. This is all about the histology of skin. Now we will be seeing 2 diseases, like this is hyperpigmentation condition, where pigment is secreted by melanocytes named cells which are present on the skin, that secretes the pigment, and hyperpigmentation is a condition called melasma. This is a melasma. This will be symmetry, either side of the face. This will be symmetry, over pigmented here. This is called as melasma. And low pigmentation, hypopigmentation, is called as patch. Like patch means this having diameter is more than 1 centimeter. See, this is larger area spreading. This is known as patch of hypopigmentation. This is called as P alba. This is a condition we see P alba usually present in the children near the malar region and around the mouth. We usually will be saying that because of some split things we have eaten, which are eaten by other people, will get like this. We will be saying in a childhood, but this is due to hypopigmentation. And if you find we have discussed all these things in a class. I will just summarize quickly. The introduction, largest organ and functions of the skin, structure of skin. Each structure I explained the layers of the skin, blood supply, nerve supply, dermatome, what is dermatome, and muscles present in our skin appendages, and embryological points I have discussed in and few disorders. There are 2 disorders, hyperpigmentation and hyperpigmentation. This is all you learned in this video. If you find this video helpful, please do like, share and subscribe to my channel.